Welcome back to Just Weirdly Blended.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Jesse. I was all stuck. Yeah, it is Sunday,
It is
June something,
June 12th,
June 12th,
2022.
No, I'm just playing.
It is the year 2050.
You know what's crazy is Alicia's tabs were due in May.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, babe, it's like almost June. And I felt like I had just told her that sometime last week.
Yeah.
And
it
here
was several weeks ago.
Yeah. It was the last day of May.
Yeah.
That I told her, like,
wow,
shit, we probably should get you some tabs.
Yeah.
So we got the tabs, which I thought was crazy because I felt like we just got that car. But it's been a year.
It's been a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It was a fast year, though.
It was.
Yeah.
I always tell the kids time flies, you know, like
the older you get, the faster it goes.
Like I remember telling Cheeky, like, high school flies by.
Mm-hmm.
And, it goes by quick.
Yep.
And it's weird because I remember when I was younger and I was in high school and seniors were telling us, and I thought this is something at that time seniors had to tell. Like, just enjoy. It goes by so fast. Like, oh, whatever. You know, I wasn't thinking whatever. 4 years is a long time. I'm just saying, whatever,
right.
Whatever. Sure, it goes by fast. You know.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, I woke up and it was 4 years later.
One of our teachers said that too. Yeah.
And and I remember thinking, like, at graduation when I was in school, that, like, holy fuck, that really does go by.
Wow, where'd the time go?
And it's graduation month, y'all.
It is actually. The kids are graduated. Yeah.
See, I was segueing.
We went to a little graduation ceremony this last Friday night. Yeah. It was pretty cool.
Congrats, Sammy.
Congrats to Sammy. She made it.
She did make it. That's cool.
Touch and go there for a while.
I've been in her shoes.
Had some code blues, but she was revived. She made it.
I'm telling you, man. I didn't find out I was graduating until maybe a week before I was graduating.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 weeks. I would still like get my like cap and gown. I was still kind of going through that process
just to make sure
because I was doing my I was still doing my like after work study or whatever it was called. And then like I want to say it was like a week that the teacher had said, "Hey, come in here. Let's talk. You passed. You got a C or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah.
So I get it. It's a good.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And then you start the real world and you wish you were back in school.
Yeah, right. You realize
that's where we talked about that last week.
We did. We talked a lot about that and higher education and a whole bunch of different things.
Yeah, I got some shorts coming. It's just been a semi-busy weekend, I guess.
Time's been flying.
It has.
It's been going very fast.
Time flies, man.
I have to say, though, going back to the graduation, it was almost a little emotional watching all these kids I did not know outside of Sammy graduating. As a teacher, you're watching and all these lives. It's like this culmination.
Just think about the kids that you've you've like, you've maybe have molded in some sort of a way.
I hope so.
Right? Like
that's the goal.
These little first graders, and then
that make it.
Fast forward, X amount of years, like all of a sudden it's them.
It's gonna be crazy because I've taught for a long time.
Oh my God, Jimmy John! Oh, I remember him.
Jimmy John.
Now he makes the best sandwich.
Ronald McDonald. Burger King. Wendy. All these kids were. Yeah, Wendy.
I don't know what her last name
was.
What was his name?
Thomas, right?
Dave Thomas.
Dave Thomas. Yeah.
Dave Thomas kind of sounds like a rocker, though.
It does. Well,
what if he shred on the guitar?
He probably did.
He's like a blues. I feel like he'd have been a blues player.
Sunglasses.
Yeah. Singing about his burgers. Fucking his nuggies.
People laughing at my square burger.
Bro. Wendy's, though, is pretty good.
Oh, we had Wendy's.
I love
When was it? Friday night. Actually, we met my parents before because Ellie didn't want to go to the graduation, obviously. And so he got to spend some grandma papa
boring
time.
Graduations can be boring. I'm not even gonna lie.
They were boring for adults. Even as a teacher that was happy to be there and a little emotional watching these kids.
Kids.
So this is a small school. It was like an alternative school, essentially, like an alternate path. And so there weren't nearly as many kids through this school, but every one of them got to submit something that would be read by the principal when they walked up to get their diploma.
That's cool.
So instead of it, it's really cool.
That's how like when I went
took
at
as
charter.
long as a any old graduation, because it's like every kid like
Thomas Jane
yeah.
would like to thank
Dave
his
Thomas.
mom, his dad,
Yep.
his brother, his 15 sisters.
Pretty much.
Guadalupe.
One girl
Romeres,
obviously did not get chosen
Garcia.
for to be like nobody was like valedictorian, but kids were chosen to give speeches.
Yeah, that's kind of like what chart. I mean, this
Okay.
reminds me of a charter graduation.
Okay.
Bro.
It's probably very similar.
Yeah.
So
you get your people that. Yeah.
So this girl did like a full-on speech that the principal read. She wasn't one of the speakers because some kids went up and they actually spoke and gave their speech. And one girl was like, I remember when I was a young girl and I
The principal's reading that? Reading that? Reading that? I need to go back
the
to
principal
school.
don't read that.
She don't read that. I need to go back to
So
school.
they gave him the slip, and then he would look at it and be like, I want to thank you, Mom and Dad, for all that you did for me. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. So blah, blah, blah. Love you so much. And then she walks over and shakes all the board members' hands. And then
the teacher did that?
So they would call the kid up.
Why didn't
they would read the name?
Student do that?
Because he had the mic. I think it was just like structurally, it probably worked better if the principal just read it for the student.
So the principal read the.
So the principal would say like Jesse Barber, and then you'd come up.
Yeah, okay.
And he would shake their hand, and then the first board member would give them the thing and shake their hand. And then he would read the little slip for them.
Like, I just want to thank my mom, dad.
Yeah, so then you'd be standing there
which I
holding
get.
your thing, probably for someone to take a picture.
Okay, so what I was thinking was the principal that read the speech, because you said the principal read a speech, if I understood correctly.
For someone? Kids were called up to give, like 4 kids came up and gave individual speeches, right?
Yeah, and what did you say? One of the kids has had the principal do the speech?
No.
Oh, that's how I understood
those kids did it. But once kids were coming up and these little tiny things, just weirdly blended saved my high school career. Thank you so much, Tom and Jesse.
We do what we can.
And that one kid, I swear to God, it was
Kate,
like
if you listen to this, do that for your graduation.
Yeah.
Oh, he already graduated.
Who?
Cade Adams. Oh, I shouldn't have gave first last name, but but sorry, Cade. You're a good boy.
Wade Chathams.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to him. He graduated this year?
No, last year.
Oh,
I think it was last year.
Congratulations a year ago.
I know.
So proud of you. So proud of you.
But no, I get what that's kind of how Charter did it. Like you would write on a piece of paper, and then you would have two. We had it where it was like 2 speakers because it was like quite a few people, and then that they would do the same thing. Like, hey, I want to thank my mom and dad.
Right.
Even
with a lot of graduates. Just really blunt. Any kids out there that want to thank us for
graduate,
helping make their high school?
When I was at Charter, I would do the graduations, but I would do like the set up the mic and the fucking whatever, the laptop,
run the sound booth.
Yeah, I ran that. I did. Yeah. I did the like the songs that came up. But then they would split up into 2, so like there'd be like 2. Well, no, it'd be 1 line, but there would be 2 speakers, so they took turns, alternating persons. Because you always had one person that could speak the Spanish words, say the Spanish stuff a little nicer than like I'm Mexican, but I don't speak a Spanish very good at all. And so, when it came to reading the names, I ain't gonna do well.
I gotcha.
Jorge Mendoza, like
Jorge Antonio Rodriguez.
Yeah. I didn't sound like fucking Michael Buffer.
Right.
Julio Rodriguez Gonzalez. I was like, damn, that's Michael Buff. He does always the boxing announcing. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
Going off a little sidetrack, just now because I was at Costco this morning. We were getting some stuff anyway. There was these 2 gentlemen, and this is where stereotypes. This is a stereotype thing, and we're all guilty of doing stereotypes.
Sure.
I see 2 light skin, and when I say like, they look like Tom.
Yes.
Right. Like I'm not, and that's not making fun of Tom. They just look really, Caucasian.
Okay.
And then I was like sitting there looking at some shoes, and then I listened, and I'm like, these guys are full on speaking. They're speaking Spanish.
Or
that's what they were doing. They were speaking Spanish, and I was just like, I would have never thought. Like my
They
stereotype.
could be Mormon. Many Mormons learned Spanish to go on mission. So
They could have been
they
more.
could be practicing their Mormon.
They could have been.
Not Mormon Spanish,
Granted,
but
they were
Spanish.
probably in their 70s, 60s, 70s. They were old men.
Maybe not. I was assuming young men. See,
I think they were either friends or a couple. Right. It could have gone either way on that one. But no, they were speaking Spanish, and didn't sound like they just learned. It just
sounded very convincing.
As they're talking, they're just talking just in general about these shoes, but they're speaking Spanish. I'm like, and even my wife, who's, she speaks Spanish stuff, she was like, pretty like shocked. Like, wow,
impressed.
I wouldn't have thought that. But, unconscious bias right there. Hit me hard.
Yeah.
I was consciously aware, bro.
Unconscious bias.
That made me conscious, though.
Yeah, now I'm consciously
training.
Now I'm consciously biased.
Yeah, that I know. I'm consciously aware that was being fucking stereotypical. I stereotyped the fuck out of them.
We try better. We try.
But I tried, like I wasn't being like racist or mean towards them.
No.
I was just very impressed. And
I think it's okay to assume that people are going
I assumed hard, bro.
I mean, it's normal.
Hard assumed.
People tend to fit in boxes. I do. I mean,
I do too.
I would not be offended if someone's like, I think he probably sounds like a white guy. I would.
What's crazy though is it seems more offensive to think that way, I think, for some people.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not offensive if they assume I speak Spanish, right? Even though it's both offensive, I think sometimes that comes across like, well, you know why I thought that. No, I really don't. Why?
Yeah.
Because I'm brown. That's why.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend in high school that spoke no Spanish, but she was, Hispanic American. She never been to Mexico.
That's how
her family was from like Texas, and it really would piss her off when people got on her case about it, because some people would get very angry.
It's happened to me many times.
Why don't you speak Spanish? Like, are you ashamed of your culture? That kind of thing.
Yeah, that's how it comes across.
It would piss her off because she's just like, no, I just don't. Like, nobody taught me. I don't speak Spanish.
Exactly.
And it's just interesting. Yeah. But that, I think it's different because I think, it's not a dominant culture. Whoop.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, a different sentiment, I guess.
Well, no, I would get that a lot from like other Hispanics. Is they would, well, why don't you speak Spanish?
Right.
Like, well, you guys got time?
This goddamn America, okay?
Well, my mom didn't learn Spanish because my grandma decided not to teach them.
You just go into the real nitty gritty of it.
Yeah, I told her that.
I took a year in high school. Just never caught on.
I straight up told someone one time I was adopted, just because I just didn't want to explain myself. I was adopted.
My parents were Chinese,
and they were like, "Oh, yeah." So,
next time someone comes up and speaks Spanish,
I was going to say something in Chinese, but I don't remember the word to say hi in Chinese.
Ni hao, Kai Lan.
Ni hao. There it is.
Let's just throw the Kai Lan behind it.
Yeah, that's it.
I learned that from that kids show.
I worked with a couple ladies. They were mother and daughter. They were Chinese, and so the mom would teach me some words to say like hi and bye and stuff. She was so cool, man.
Yeah, ni hao is like the only real.
That's the only one I know.
Hold on. What's the fucking thing from Rush Hour that the little girl says?
I haven't seen that movie.
Shishi, Shin, something. I don't fucking know.
Maybe it was Shishi.
Remember when she's in the car
and she's singing Mariah Carey?
When you walk. By the way,
she was singing Mariah Carey.
I have seen her older now. Kind of sad. She does not look like a sweet little girl anymore.
She's crazy. Kid.
She's done some things to her body, I think. She's made some alterations. And
I think it's sad when people do that. Like,
well, and like, I don't know. Like, she was such a cute little kid. Like, we were old enough then. Like, we were way older than she was.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so it's just like you see her all grown up now. It's like, oh,
poor kid. I don't know. I think it's weird when girls get things done to them. I understand
to a reasonable point.
There's a point where I can understand a girl wants to like get her maybe she doesn't like her nose because it's crooked or You
Yeah,
get
it's
that
one thing to
done,
do like
or their
little
boobs
tweaks or whatever,
something, yeah.
but like when people are distorting
Or
their
boobs.
bodies,
Of course, a man would say that.
their boobs are like
If
their
they-
butt,
Well,
getting their butt
So I
done.
get,
or-
you know, I've had people say that.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't like that their boobs might sag or they
Uh-huh.
might not, whatever, and so they, you know, do something. And I get that because that make you feel
Right.
good. But it's like when they do stuff to their face.
Well, it's like almost like a dysmorphia thing where you start looking less like natural, and that's kind of what someone's going for. My question is, like, is it from a healthy place?
Well, some people just
You know,
look like
like-
they can't even make a facial feature.
Well, there's
anymore.
one gal that like has gotten breast implants to the point that they're like, I mean, they're like friggin' beach balls.
That's weird.
And then her lips are so fake, and like I don't mean it in a mean way. It's just like,
That's gross.
can you be mentally in a good place with who you are
I don't think you are.
if you're changing your body to a point that it's like maybe somewhat destructive? Like I don't see how that helps you physically when your breasts are that large. Like,
so like I understand if you want to get like lip injections here and there,
Sure.
which I understand.
Sure.
Some people have like a thin lip or
Yeah.
whatever, and they want just plump lips, and I understand
Right.
that, and I'm cool with that. Like,
but it's got to be like a dysmorphia thing, right? Like
Yeah,
where
I
the
think there comes to a
internal
point where it's
view
just
of
like
what they look like
all of a
is
sudden looks like you just
like
got punched.
Have you seen the video that the girl with the huge lips, and then the guys put the one guy puts the hot dogs on the other guy's face and starts moving them around?
Yeah. Oh, I seen one where a guy got stung by a bee on his face or something. His lips or his on his lip, but his lips were swollen. He's like,
Yeah,
and he makes a joke out of it.
yeah.
But his lips are big, and he
Right.
was, you know, making a joke basically. I think there might be something around that, like
Yeah.
where it's just
I don't know,
it
but
could be a mental thing, but
each their own. I
they're
guess.
like I know some girls are just not happy with their bodies, and I understand that, and I don't want to be bashing it. And I know guys do the same thing.
Oh yeah, I
Like,
think it's becoming more common
you-
for guys to.
You know, you don't like that you're wrinkled, so you'll get injections here and there, which okay, I understand. Or you don't like your lips, so you want a little plumpness.
Yeah.
Or you want a little your nose, like something's wrong with it. Like for me, I would love to go to a doctor and check my nose because I've had it cracked so many times that I want to know if there's something up here where it's
Right.
causing me breathing issues,
Sure,
stuff like that.
very well could.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I think there comes a point where it's like, you know,
Yeah.
do you have an issue? Because like you said, your boobs are just unnaturally big, or you
Right.
got like your face is so done that it's just like stuck.
Well, because
and
we
it's
all
like,
know,
you know, everyone
the
knows.
famous gal that starts to look plastic and super fake, and it's like
What's
scary
that
almost.
model lady? She was like a big supermodel back in the like 80s or
Uh-huh.
70s or something. She was in like America's Top Model or something.
Yeah.
God, what is her name? I can't think of her name, but she's older now. She's
Uh-huh.
but she was pretty when she was
Right.
you know, younger, but now she's older. Like she's gotten so much work done. Like
Right.
it's
It's
I think it
almost
does
scary,
something to
right?
you.
I
Yeah.
think I know who you're talking about. I don't remember
I
her
can't
name.
remember her name,
But yeah, it's like at that point you're either addicted to it or the inside, your own perspective of how you look is not matching
well,
the actual.
do you ever
thing,
like tell
you
your
know?
wife? Like I know I've done this where I tell my wife, you know, you look good, or you
Right.
oh, I look disgusting. I'm fat, or I'm this. I'm like, no, you look.
Well, and that's a
You know, it's
hypercritical
almost-
thing that we all have. But
Well, I think that's how it is. Like a woman, when like we see them, and we see them, at least for us,
Right.
we see them for who they are. Oh,
Right.
they're, you know, you're beautiful. You don't need to do that. They see themselves, and they might, you know, we might see this model when we look at them, and then when they look at the mirror, they might see something,
Right.
some hideous, you know, Notre
Some
Dame, the
hideous
Hunchback
creature.
of Notre Dame, or something. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's how they.
Yeah.
That's almost how they view themselves,
Right,
though. I
right.
think, and I think that goes for men and women. Is
Well,
they,
I think you
they
know,
see themselves. And
vanity
they're
is
just like,
something that our culture is pretty bad with, you know, and I'm a
Yeah.
part of that. We're all a part of it, but
oh, I'm
like looks are important, and you know, again, like with the famous gals, of course, they're probably under even more pressure because when you're famous, everyone talks.
well, I think
about
you
how you
when you're
look.
a model and stuff.
What can you imagine? Like one night you don't look your best, and then it's all over
they just
tabloids. Like
fucking flame
she
you.
has cancer. She's like, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
how? Just not nice. I don't know.
They flame you if you fucking
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, just don't like cut yourself up too much because you want to look natural. There's nothing like prettier than a gracefully aging woman, you know, like,
oh yeah, for sure.
There are some ladies that take very good care of themselves. They never go under the knife, but they just maintain.
They just got that natural.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, I don't know. It's too bad that.
You might call us, what do they call it? Misogynistic? Whatever. You can call us.
Is that being misogynistic?
No. I think we're being honest. I think we're thinking what most things.
Misogynistic would be like, you better go get your nose done because I don't like the way you look.
Fat, ugly
misogynistic
ass
would be like, you better look like a model or else. You know.
I get that. But I also think it could come across like, oh, you don't. Oh, that's a woman's body. It's at her temple. She does
sure
what
it is. I'm just saying, like,
you know what I mean?
To make it deeper, my fear would be is man or woman, is this person doing it from a healthy place?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Unhealthy place.
And in my personal opinion, is I think when it gets to a point, it's unhealthy.
Right. And is it my place to judge that? No. And if they're happy with it, fine. But yes, it is.
It is my place to be the most judgy person.
You know, I mean, it's just it would be very sad to me if somebody did not love themselves enough that they felt that they had to do this in order to have value. Yeah, you don't have to go under a knife to have value.
And the thing I always think is like, if you are going to do that, you need to come out like wanting, you know, you need to go actually before you go under a knife, you need to go. And if you're doing it for, you know, reasons where it's not like, you know, oh, I can't breathe, or whatever, you know.
Right. Well, let's be
if you're doing it for a reason like,
clear.
I'm going to make myself feel better, but you need to feel better about who you are before you even do that, because you're going to come out still feeling like the same person.
And we're not talking
you might look at yourself and say, oh, I look nicer, but then, now I got this little wrinkle on my shoulder.
Right.
I need to get shoulder surgery.
Do you get hypersensitive to a flaw?
Exactly.
And do the flaws get out of control?
And I think flaws
we're not talking about people that like go on Dr. Pimple Popper or something because there's like a huge bump on their face. Of course you want to get stuff like that taken care of. Like everybody would want to, and that's just to feel.
I think people need to realize. I think men and women, and I'm gonna say this from a man's perspective only, is women tend to, and obviously I can be wrong. So disclaimer. Women tend to be like very judgmental of themselves.
Right.
Men can be the same way, but I think typically women are a little harder on themselves with how they look. Right. And that could be society or whatever. Most guys are thinking, you know, they'd love if a girl looks, you know, like just, it's, you know, they don't care about size, right? Some guys do care if a girl's like skinny as these right here, right? But most guys, you know, they just natural beauty, you know, whatever. You don't need to do all this stuff. I take you for who you are, and I think
it depends. I mean, like you definitely have like
you got some guys that are very.
If somebody
get out of here with that shit,
but I get what you mean, especially guys in like
there's a rapper, Kendrick Lamar. He has a song where he talks about, you know, I want that girl with the stretch marks on her ass, and I want, you know, like he wants a girl. He doesn't care if the, you know, basically it's like, I don't want this chick that's fake. I want the girl like natural, like
no matter what, whether you get a surgery to fix it or you don't. I mean, no one's gonna be perfect forever. If you're with somebody because their skin has no flaw, it's not unrealistic.
You gotta accept those flaws.
And also look in a mirror. I'm not gonna tell Blanca like, oh, you better go get this, and this fixed. Yeah, she'd be like, well, let me give you your list because, you know, no matter how skinny I got, I've been heavy heavy in spots. I don't get fat in certain parts of my body ever.
I'm heavy right now.
But like, I have stretch marks. Am I going to go get them cut out? No, because I'd still have scars. Like, you know, and I just don't care that much. But it's like, I'm not perfect.
Well, like you said, look in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
So one thing, and this goes back to when I used to go to church, and I'm not to this, you know, I'm not a churchy guy anymore.
Sure.
But the one thing I did take, I remember hearing is like, when you point your finger, just remember there's always three pointing back at you. So before you like judge someone, just remember there's three of these guys looking back at you.
Let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
Hey, yeah, everyone has sin. God damn it.
That's right.
You know.
Well, that's one thing. Like,
hallelujah, Jesus.
You know, hey, for the biblical stuff, like that, yeah, there's value in some of this. Like, I'm with you. I'm not an extremely religious guy. I was raised with church and all that. But I do think, you know, something like that type of an idea is very. There's a real value to that. Yeah. it's very easy to get pulled into the headspace of like judging other people and looking and be like, oh, I'm better than that person, blah, blah, blah. But you're not supposed to. And whether there's God or not God, it's not a nice thing.
And not to get deep into religion, but I found, and one thing I found that kind of steered me is I found religious people, for me anyway, were very judgmental.
This is one of the interesting.
And so I don't want to, like, I'm not trying to get into a, like, I get it.
Yes.
I believe in God. I believe there's some higher power. But at the same time, I think in my experiences, the people that seem to be the most judgy, the most harsh,
I've had some of the same experiences.
were people who had a faith behind them. And it was just, to me, it was just like, well, I grew up in church, but it's like, thou shalt not judge. And
see, there's something about American Christian fundamentalism.
It's
that is not helping. There's a reason less and less people are identifying as religious and church going. And it is because some of our most powerful churches still seem kind of stuck up and, you're either good enough or you're not. And it turns off a lot of people.
It does.
It just does.
I never understood some of the stuff.
That's how I grew up. It. And I think there are just some people that are not happy and they've put all their faith into this idea of a God and they are proving to themselves that they're worthy of this God by being better than all these other people. But they're sadly missing some of the point.
I don't want to get into this because we've talked about it. Is if there is a God, if God is, like you say, like God supposedly loves everybody, right?
Right.
Except he has a list, right?
See, this is the thing.
Like,
and even
how can you not love someone like, so you got gays and stuff, which, you got these two people who are just madly in love with each other, just have some connection that most of us can never have with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Why would God not love that? Why would God like not make them that way?
Natural birth control.
That's just natural.
Hello.
Yeah. And we've said that. And
I honest to God believe
but I don't think God's against, but see, that's where I'm
and even if he is,
I don't think he
didn't ask you to be judge, jury, and executioner.
And I know he says we have freedom of choice.
It also says in the Bible, there are lots and lots of quotes. If you're such a biblical, scholar, that you want to read it like word for word, line for line.
I know they say in the Bible there's like a man shall not lay with another man, right?
Sure, but it also says that you shall not judge another man because it's really not up to you to judge. This is where I think
it's not right, is because this Bible was written by man. And so if that man decided, actually, and he was like, didn't like that, like obviously he's going to add that in. And who's to say we don't know?
Right.
We'll never know the exact. I want the fucking OG original.
Some people view the Bible as literally the word of God.
And when he says man, he means people in general.
Right. So like, yes, somebody.
So no one should have sex with anybody. No, maybe. I'm just joking.
Maybe. We're all sinners.
I better not say that. I love
lying with man.
I love lying with my woman.
Well, we're in big trouble because when we camped, we technically lied near each other.
We did.
Yeah. So
I was in one room. He was way in the other room.
But that does not matter. We lied at the same time.
We did. His campers, a
aren't
6-foot camper,
lying with each other.
He has a 6-foot camper.
What if he meant you shall not lie?
Let's
like
see
tell
how
a dishonesty towards each other.
I know.
Thou shalt not lie with another
That's
man.
where I always just like when I grew up, like I just would question things because like I just didn't understand, like, and I don't mean to get like I said, I don't mean to get religious, but like
but
I just never understood like God loves everybody, but he has these stigmas. If he loves us unconditionally, he's not going to care if, I get if we're these dipshits and we're assholes and we're murderers and just constantly these horrible people. I understand going to burning the roots of hell, right? Brimstone, fire, brimstone. I understand that. What I don't understand is if you're a guy with another guy with a girl, guy with a guy who thinks he's a girl, or any of that shit, but you have this love for each other, you're a good person. Like, I don't see God hating you because of because of that. That just doesn't make sense to me, and it'll never make sense to me. And no one
even
can
if he
convince me
does
different.
again,
and if you can, try, please.
It's not up to us to worry about it.
Fuck.
You
That's
know,
what
honestly, why is it even an issue? It's an issue because it's an easy politicized
And I wonder
issue.
if is it an issue now as it was when we were growing up?
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It is. Because
I haven't gone to church in a long time.
It is in the sense, it depends on where you go. I mean, there are some American churches where it's not an issue. They allow gay clergy. It's not, it's more a socially open idea. But they're like, for example, the Catholic Church is still, the American Catholic Church is
They accept aliens though now.
Well, they don't accept gay people.
That's
I mean, they do in the sense that the Pope has told them basically like you have to, but they don't. Culturally, they do not. They will produce voting guides to tell you who to vote for because of Christian religious
John
beliefs.
Thompson's
And
blah, blah, blah.
you know, it's like whatever. If you have a real feeling against it, you have a right to feel that way, I guess. I don't know. I'm sensical, I think. I look at evidence. I want to be evidence-based. And I've never heard a real story where somebody went to like religious whatever camp and came out a straight happy man.
Hallelujah.
I see a lot of like Jim was saved, but hey, I love women and pussy so much. I'm gonna go to a pussy party tonight. Woo! Who wants some pussy? Yeah.
So over the top, like
you know
like,
what I mean?
Nah, Jim still like
Jim still wants to suck a dick.
He wants to slim Jim. Jim wants that slim Jim.
He wants to slip into a slim Jim pretty quick.
Snap it a slim Jim
or whatever. But I mean, you know, it's like,
I get it.
Or they kill themselves.
Which is sad.
You know, I mean, and let's face it, Catholicism, and I don't mean to pick on them, but like,
and they're probably they're not the only.
Sadly, a lot to pick on. They believe that
but they can rape little boys.
Chosen by God,
whatever.
And God doesn't make mistakes. Yet we know that priests have molested children. So there's one answer I would like to have.
So if God doesn't make mistakes, and I don't mean, and I do not mean, and I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
I don't mean this to be.
I think you're getting at
asshole.
What I'm getting at.
Why is there murders and fucking rapists and all this shit?
Well, it's two things. Either God did that on purpose, and it's all part of God's plan, or.
And I know He gave us the choice, but why would that be a choice to give us?
Well, and I'm not
which is
theology.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I want to know,
but I do want to know. From people, specifically American Catholics that are traditional hardcore people, how do you justify the idea that God doesn't make mistakes, that He chooses priests personally, that like it's a calling and that priests are chosen by God?
He has a bunch of cards.
And yet there have been priests who have, there's no doubt in anyone's mind, have molested children.
Yeah.
Is it not a mistake and that was supposed to happen? Or does God not select priests and people just choose to be priests? And okay, you know, then some guy actually wants to molest kids and does it, and God had nothing to do with that. And maybe you're just an institution and not God. That's a fascinating idea.
Because I think if God's going to choose, and if God's like seriously like, you know what, this is my choice. I'm doing this draft in this year's 2022. Catholicism priest draft, I choose Juan Carnacion. He's gonna know for sure that Juan is a good guy,
right?
Ain't a molester.
If God knows these people, God's this not guy don't touch kids. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I don't think God's gonna be like,
"Oops,
I knew Juan was gonna do that. I just wanted to see if he was."
God coming up. I just want to sincerely apologize to everyone affected by this. I did not know then, and I was not made aware of this issue until God is just like, He lied to me.
A politician.
He lied to my family. And he lied to all of us.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
First of all, I was not present at the party. There are photographs that claim that I'm in the background. It was a photograph hanging on the wall.
They say I'm all knowing and all seeing, but how did I not see or not know this?
It was my son Jesus on the wall. It wasn't even me.
I know. But that's the thing. That's what I don't understand is like, because if God picks, why would He... That's where I say this is the thing.
It's because we put. Sorry, I don't mean to be too offensive, but
I have friends that are very into church, and I
get
love
it.
you guys.
And
my family
love you guys
is
too.
hard into it.
But I just beg to ask: is there not damage done when we put an institution above God.
Oh yeah.
So many people tie their God into their building, into their people, into. It's great to have God. It's great to have religion.
At some point, that.
Man is the problem.
That's what it is.
And when you start to value the institution above the real messaging, there's a big problem, and that's what's happening. And that's what's happened. And maybe we're finally getting to a point where it can't be hidden anymore. And I don't mean just Catholics, but let's be real. It's known across the board. There is abuse that happens when you have people looked at as some level closer to God and a bunch of people that just better do what they say.
God told me, I need you to take your clothes off.
Right.
He told me personally. He picked me personally. Where are you going to deny me?
Jesus said I was to bless your pussy, so please pull it out for me and let me give you a little blessing. Pull out that pussy for me.
I want to see that one.
This is the Old Women's Church of Christ. Pull out that pussy for me. Let me bless that lady.
I know. The Gilf Church. The Foursquare Gilf Church. No, but it's true though. Like, I don't know. Religion's always been, and like I said, I grew up really hardcore. My mom's been hardcore into it. She got us into it. I just always had my doubts and questions, and and you know what? God, that's how he made me. He made me very questionable about certain things, and I think that's where I started questioning, and I just kind of came up with my own answer.
See, and that's it.
And I'm not against, and I'll never be against churches because there is good that came out of what I did.
Great churches, and
dude, the church I went to, it was a small church. They were bikers. Our pastor had long hair, had an earring. Like it was a cool ass church. I'll never like think down on that church. But in most religions, it's just.
I think my concern is when somebody's drawn to that role because of themselves and not because of service.
Well, look at the church. Look how much money the churches make. Mm-hmm. Billions.
Right.
Billions. You got Joel Osteen, or what is it? Wait. Is he Osteen? Because that's oh no, what's the chocolate milk?
Ovaltine.
You
got Joel Ovaltine down there in Texas. He's giving chocolate milk to everybody.
Please.
But you know what he don't have to do? Pay taxes on that Ovaltine.
I know. But no, like, I'm sorry, but how are you making billions of dollars?
Well,
you know,
I remember,
and I'm exaggerating. I know it's not billions.
Oh, he makes a lot of money. And not only that, he has a mega church the size of a stadium.
Which we've talked about this before,
isn't it? Well, that's okay. It deserves to be talked about. And you know what? Nothing personally against Joel Osteen. That's fine. He's a decent guy. I don't think he's anything horrible.
Joel Ovaltine, but cool.
Joel Ovaltine. Yeah, we don't want to get sued, but he's a public figure, so frankly, we can say what we want. And this is my personal opinion. I don't quote me because I could be mistaken, but I believe it was him and his mega church back when Texas flooded several years ago.
Oh, you said
he locked his church down, and there were calls for him to please open up and use his huge mega church as a
sanctuary.
And I don't believe that was done. I hope that it was done
for $300 a room.
Jesus is calling on all of you to give us money to save the people flooding.
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
My mom, so I grew up poor as fuck, but my mom this is where like because I won't do this. Even if I was in a church, maybe because I'm cheap, like we've talked about, I won't pay for like a stripper. I won't do none of that shit, right?
If I went to church, I would not pay for a stripper. Let me tell you that.
10% of your income. Say you get a check for $3,000. You got to give your church $300, bro.
My issue is like I don't mind donating 10%. What I do mind is saying it has to go to the church.
So you give the church $300 like it's rent.
I won't.
That's what I mean.
My point is like, why can't I give to another charity that I feel is really important?
That's cool.
But that's not tithes.
Yeah.
You get there was a televangelist that actually would say, if you give enough to God, you will reap. What's that guy's name? The fucking psycho old guy.
Billy Graham?
No, I'm in Billy Graham because Billy Graham is like tame compared to this guy.
Benny.
This guy is nuts. His eyes are crazy.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. It wasn't Benny Hinn where he would like.
No.
In the name of Jesus, you healed.
Oh my God.
Push you down the stairs.
You have.
In the name of Jesus, you got a broken leg.
Yeah.
Wow.
His back was broken 10 years ago. He hasn't walked, but he shoves him back so hard. It's like, well, now it's really fucked.
Now you really.
Oh my God, so stupid.
Granted, some of the stuff I would see when I was younger, I remember we'd watch him, Benny Hinn, or I think his name was, I don't remember, but he would heal people. Now I think about it, I wonder if those people were like staged.
So first of all, they are staged, or if they're not staged, it's psychology. They believe so hard that they'll push themselves through it. And he's healed them. And of course, they're not going to show them saying, ow, ow, ow. And they usher them out of there so fast that.
Get the fuck out of here. Who are you fucking us up?
It's fake. It's absolutely fake. Am I saying that Jesus never performed miracles? No.
I think there's miracles.
I wasn't there 2,000 years ago. What I'm saying is in modern day terms, the Bible also warns, right, about like false prophets doing amazing things to convince you that they're God. Jesus, mother of God. Jesus, mother of God. Jesus is his own mother. And he heard it here first. Jesus is his own mother. And he was a hermaphrodite that had children among man. I don't know. Whatever. But that's that salesmanship. That's the thing that this gets to me. It's like, it's gross. It's just gross.
Before we moved to Washington, I'm originally from Nevada.
Yeah.
From a small town. Well, I don't know if it's small. Henderson, Nevada.
Okay.
Just outside Vegas. We went to this church, and this is when I kind of remember us getting to church, and it was cool. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I really overall enjoyed the people I've met. And that's what I always like, the camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
Camaraderie. I can't speak a Spanish very good. I came from a very long, poor time. I don't remember shit. But we had this like evangelist or someone who the God would tell them. And apparently what they told me was to become a pastor of either children or a pastor of my own church. And
you personally?
Oh yeah, me.
Oh,
like, wow. I was supposed to be like, I was going to lead kids, or I was going to do
look
something.
At you. You're the Church of Jesse Barber.
I know. I got kids.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah. But I was just like, oh, and then I was just like,
Sounds like
later, like on live, I remember it just stuck with me. I'm like, nah, I hate talking in front of people.
What is this church supposed to come?
Like, I'm not very like, I don't see myself being that. And who knows?
Maybe someday.
I'm 40 now, but let's see what happens 20 years. Maybe 20 years down the road.
When you're 60, it's going to hit you.
Like, dude, I should have been a fucking
youth
pastor.
What? I need some money.
I would probably kill it as a youth pastor. I won't lie. I'd probably be way too honest, and I'd probably get kicked out of church, though.
I'll tell you, boys and girls, sometimes you might experiment a little bit.
Like, for me, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that was my rant on church.
No, I hear you, because I grew up.
I know that came from graduation to church.
That's okay. I think it was.
But when you graduate from a church,
you become your own God, and when you're your own God,
I'm out.
No. Send us your money. Jesus needs no more money.
Jesus and Tom Jesse need money.
Our church ain't doing enough for the people of this world.
The church are just weirdly blended.
Yeah, they're just weirdly blended brothers and sisters out there that are dying of poverty and stuff.
But no, so going back to actually like tithes before we end this combo. Like, my mom would tithe, but it was like, dude, you're using $80, we'll say, even just 80 to $100 of your money to give to the church.
Mm-hmm.
In that time, we never really.
For the record, did you have tenfold money come back to you in some way?
No,
it never actually came back to you.
That's what I'm getting at.
So paying to God, which it didn't pay to God, it paid to that church.
We never seen shit.
Never came back.
We still struggle.
Benefit you, right? They make it. And by they, I mean the lying televangelists that suck every penny out of
televangelists, churches in general.
Right. Oh, man, it pisses me off. It makes me very angry because it's whatever.
Anyway,
not all churches are that way. And no matter what church you go to, if you believe that it's the right church for you, I'm more than happy for you. And I think it's a fantastic, wonderful thing. I do think, though,
if you want to go to Bible school, Bible college,
go to jessebarber.com.
it's low cost of $150,000 a semester.
You have to start with the Coors Light Guide to Getting to Heaven.
You do. Amen. Jesus.
Followed by the Alien Head book on, I don't know. But
aliens.
Freaking, what you call it? Scientology.
Weird.
Where the science fiction writer wrote a whole series of books, and you have to keep buying more and more and more to get.
Scientology is weird to me too.
It is weird because L. Ron Hubbard said, if you want to get rich, start a religion. And then he started a religion. So there you go.
But don't believe in, oh, well, you need this medicine for your kid to survive. No, I don't think so.
Jesus will heal.
No.
If you believe enough, you don't need that cancer treatment.
So I'm not going to lie. There is parts of me, and I don't believe like I'm going to be healed in that sense. Right. But I think there's parts of me where I believe that me being out of shape and drinking and eating unhealthy and being unhealthy in that sense, that's probably attributed to maybe me having a little bit of high blood pressure.
Oh, so you mean like you believe in science?
I believe in science.
Dietitians.
Scientology don't even believe in science.
Yeah, right. No, Scientology doesn't believe in science at all. We're all aliens.
How stupid are you?
Yeah, I mean, that's seriously.
Anyway.
Sorry, Tom Cruise, but
I love you, Tom. I loved Top Gun was great.
Tom Cruise is a great actor, and sadly, I wish he weren't.
I think he's not as crazy as he was.
I pray to God because
I think at one point he was up here. I think he's still a little nuts because he's a Hollywood actor, and most of them are.
Well, isn't he one of the top-ranked Scientologists?
Yeah,
along with what's his name?
Like I said, Johnny Depp. I love Johnny Depp, but he's kind of crazy still.
He's fine, still a little crazy. At least his is from drugs and drinking.
I get it. Mental health, men's mental health awareness, dude. The tie-in, bro.
June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. So speaking of Tom Cruise and John Travolta,
Johnny Depp,
Johnny Depp.
I don't know where we talked about John Travolta, but
because he's also a Scientologist, a high-ranking Scientologist.
I don't remember us bringing in.
No, we're going to call you out if you're a Scientologist, but for all these people struggling with their mental health, this is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, which
I didn't know until today.
I didn't know until you told me today.
Yeah, hey, as much as we joke around and much as we talk shit about other stuff and whatever, like one thing we always I think touch on and one thing we always think is very important is men's mental health. Mm-hmm. And so
women's mental health too, but I think our target audience is more the male.
Is men, and so, it's not against women or anything. It's not.
We just focus more on guys because guys are typically.
If you can get something out of this, awesome. I'm very happy for you.
And thank you for listening.
Exactly.
But mental health, especially men, I think is something that men have not accepted themselves, and we're trying to bring the awareness of the need for it and the fact that you just shouldn't feel bad about it. We have had our own mental health.
Well, I'll bring up something I've done because I like to think I'm an open book to a point. Like I don't mind throwing my shit out there.
I'm a closed book that falls right open when you give it a chance.
Like I don't care if people think I do, but I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, like Blanca yesterday, they saw me. Like I came to go pick up my kids and stuff because they were over here. Me and my wife celebrated our 5th year anniversary on Friday.
Congratulations
for being married. The baseball game we went to got rained out, so we went today or Saturday yesterday. It was a doubleheader. Won both games, by the way. Fantastic. Pretty cool. It was cool. Shout out to the little guy. There's this little sweet little boy that he had like 50 baseballs, and because he kept getting the foul balls, somehow he would be able to get them. Right. Well, he came back, was like, anybody want a baseball?
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, we'll take one because JJ wanted one.
Yeah.
Last time we went to the game. And so the kid, here you go.
Are they regular baseballs or do they have like the little dust?
It was a straight up ball that got fouled out during the game.
That's cool.
It was very nice of him.
That is very nice.
Very sweet kid. And I seen him later on at the end of the game give another kid because after the game would be one, the players would come out and throw these little squishy baseballs, and he gave some other kid that.
Tie in here, he should become a pastor when he grows up.
He was very sweet, and he did it with his
with the sincerity of his heart.
He knew he had what he had. He was like,
that's amazing.
It was very sweet, and I respect the parents. You guys did an awesome job. Anyway, men's mental health awareness. Me, myself, yesterday I got to come pick the kids up. Blanca was like, hey, man, you all right? You seem like kind of like, is everything okay? You know, at that time, I was just more tired than anything. Maybe I was going through something. I at that moment, I don't think I was, because I was more like I said, I only got like 5 hours of sleep the night before. But then today, I was struggling mentally. Like, and it's something I do deal with where sometimes I just need to decompress and I need to be alone, or I just need to be away from everyone.
Yes. Some quiet
time. Family. I need to be away from my wife. I just need to be away because everything gets overwhelming. And I get very snippy, right? And I get very short, and I didn't want to take that out on the kids or on my wife and just be like, just be a dick for no reason. And that's where, my mental health is important to me, because that's going to help my family. And that's something I've started learning just from, I think, like I said, from this podcast, is I think it made me aware of what I need to work on. And so when Alicia, recognized, hey, you okay? And then I'm fine, which we all men say that we're fine when we're not, a lot of times we're not fine. We just like to hide our stuff, and we don't want to burden anybody with our problems. And I didn't want to burden her with it, because sometimes when we say we're fine, then we explain ourselves. It's becomes more of an issue. Like, it almost becomes like, oh, I can't say anything because now I'm an asshole, or now I'm a piece of shit, or
and
now
I do know that is a common feeling. You know what I mean? Men,
that happens. And I'm not saying my wife makes me feel that way, because she didn't make me feel that way.
It's just something that is the way it is.
It is. Yeah. It is what it is. And that, I don't like to say it is what it is, but it is.
It is what it is.
It is. But I had just, she's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, and then, like, later on, after I cooked some hot dogs and hamburgers for the kids, and I was just like, no, I just need to be away from the kids, and I'm just trying to, just chill for a minute. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, or I don't mean to, like, come across that way, because that's not my intention. Right. It's like, it's just overwhelming. I feel like everything's right here, when in reality, everything's over here. Kids are being their kids. They're not doing it. But for me, everything's here at that moment. And I'm just like, oh, I need to get out. I need to just kind of like, she's like, so you just need to decompose for a while and do this. And then I'm not thinking, she goes, I mean, decompress, not decompose.
You see the fall apart, get eaten by bugs for a while,
die a little bit. I'm like, well, we're all dying on the inside, I guess.
It's a metaphor for your feelings.
I'm dying on the inside. And I guess my thing is, always be aware of how you feel, even if it's going to make your partner or anybody uncomfortable. The one thing I will, praise my wife on is I'm able to just explain myself, and I was able to explain how I was feeling at the moment. And I'm like, sometimes, and I let her know, like, sometimes you say things that make me feel like it's not okay. And I go, I know you're not meaning it that way, but
that's way that you're.
I go, and I don't need to let myself. And this is kind of my advice: is don't let anybody else, like, dictate your emotions, right? Like, because a lot of times it's yourself making you feel that way.
It's hard to remember that in the moment.
It is. And so that's, and it was way crazy, because I heard that from a podcast, and I was just like, that's true. Like, and that's something I've heard from other, motivational speakers, whatever. Just don't let anybody dictate how you feel.
Right.
You're going to feel a certain way, but if they say something, don't take it and think that's what they mean. Because a lot of times when people say things, they don't mean it as a vindictive or a fucked up thing to say.
Assume the best intent.
They're just, oh, it's the kids, kind of thing.
Right.
Or, oh, it's the kids. Here we go again. And that's how I think of stuff. When I get told stuff, it's just like, oh, here we go again. Oh my God, he's complaining. Oh, when in reality, it's totally opposite of that. It's just like, oh, it's, it's the kids. Oh, you're just feeling like you need to decompress. I get it. And that's what she did. I get it. I need that sometimes. She's like, sometimes I feel like I need to be more attached with the kids in those moments when you're feeling like you need to be detached from everything, and you just kind of need to, like, loose on yourself. So I needed, so it was a learning moment at that moment. So, I think that's cool. mental health, and I think that's where, like, this podcast, like I said, for me has been very helpful because it just gets me to it's been helping me realize certain things about myself.
Sure. Work through the dialogue of it.
Yeah, because I knew that I knew I wasn't in a good spot mentally, so I was aware this month of my health,
my mental health. All 12 days?
All 12 days I've been aware.
Mental health.
And I don't mean to make joke of it, but I think sometimes it's good to be joke.
Yeah, I am not always aware of my mental health.
And I'm not, but I was I was surprised by how well aware I was at the moment, and I was just like, I knew I was not in a good spot. I knew I needed to just let myself just kind of like, woo, okay, let's go back in the house. Okay, the kids, everything's cool. So like, everything was good. So
Well, one thing I really wanted to bring up.
So and I just ended like that.
I really wanted to bring up Mikey's Chance, which is an organization that Blanc and I have been working through, and now you guys are somewhat working through, to help foster dogs. I've always loved dogs, and Blanca came to me with the idea of like, hey, let's become like dog fosters, and I'm like, okay, this kind of out of nowhere, but we have 4 dogs of our own.
Yeah,
we've always liked dogs. I never really thought about that. I'm like,
what dog I never see though anymore? Frank.
He's always hiding.
I don't ever see.
He lays in bed, and you'll hear him. He's a tiny Chihuahua.
He's a teacup.
He's about as tall as this beer can.
He's a tall can.
Yeah, he's tiny.
He's small. He's actually 12 ounce can. He's not a tall can. He's not 16 ounce.
He is smaller than some rats. I mean,
he's a small guy.
For real.
He's a cute little dude. He's a good guy.
He's an awesome puppy. But we just keep bringing more dogs in.
You do have a few dogs,
and
I'm getting one from you guys.
You're gonna adopt a dog from us, and
a little boxer.
We're very happy though. It's been for Blanca and I both. It's been a very rewarding experience.
Yeah,
and it's something that I think has helped our mental health as a couple.
I think so. That helps.
And it's just sometimes finding those things that you get reward out of.
Yeah.
And I felt that way watching kids graduate Friday night. Not that they were my students, but just as a teacher, watching kids make it to that point.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're building towards.
That's what you want.
No matter what job you do, you're helping get these kids across that finish line. It was a very nice thing to see. Having these dogs. If anyone does out there here and is interested in donating to Mikey's Chance is in kind of a tough spot right now. It's completely volunteer based. The woman that runs the whole thing makes no money off of it. To my knowledge, she does not.
That's what I heard.
Any kind of income from it. She works a full-time job and then runs this whole thing on the side. And it's a pretty massive undertaking. Tons of people are giving up dogs, and not many people are adopting right now. So they're pretty well tapped out on money, on fostering, on everything. So Mikey's Chance, look it up, and if you can, help out.
Well, no, and what's crazy about that is me and my wife, we had lost a dog. Our little Beans guy, he was a boxer, and we loved the fuck out of that dog.
He was a good boy.
And I was at the point where I was like, I don't want another dog. Obviously that's how I got when I lost any pet. It was like, I don't want no pet. Fuck pets. I don't want
shut down. Fuck that dog. I hate that dog.
yeah. I don't want no pet. I want to vest my emotions.
He was a stupid dog anyway.
Yeah. And I think that's how some people get. Yes. We get emotionally.
It hurts.
I don't like dealing with those emotions. Right. I don't know. That's just who I am. I'd rather not deal with it. Right. But no, they came up and they sent us a picture of this little puppy. He's like 3 months, looked identical. And when I say identical, I mean it. Like, I would not be shocked if I found out later that somehow this dog was a descendant of our last dog, because they look identical except one has a longer tail.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, your dog originally
he had a crop tail. They brought up, do you want to crop his tail? I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
I hear you. There's really no reason to.
There isn't. And he bites his tail. He's cute. He's a beautiful dog.
A puppy of puppies as far as energy goes.
Energetic, very all over the place. My wife calls him my shadow because he follows me everywhere. But yeah, I didn't think we were going to be in that situation where we'd want to adopt, but then it came up and it's just like, fuck, I can't say no.
Right.
And I could have said no, but I don't know. You want to help these little guys out.
Yeah.
So I get the lore and like, why you want to.
Well, just these dogs, and some of these dogs, I mean, you hear the story of where they came from. And
my dog adoption story is very mild compared to what Tom's told me is this guy just worked 12 hours a day, couldn't really take care of this puppy, living in an apartment, right?
Yeah.
And I get it.
And in his case, luckily, I mean, not a bad guy.
He wasn't abusive to this dog or nothing.
He just realized, I can't take care of it. It was too long for this dog to be left alone.
Yeah.
He needs more than that. And B, when he got home at like 7 at night,
he didn't want to deal with it.
This dog was full of energy and he was beat from working all day.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't fair to the puppy. Yeah. I wish people would do a little more research before getting the dog in the first place. And if you're like a backyard breeder, just maybe think for a minute because there's an awful lot of puppies out there.
There is a puppy I would get again, though.
Yeah.
It is a Basset Hound puppy.
Yeah.
Anybody out there got Basset Hounds that want to give me one?
Yeah.
Please.
Maybe if we find
dog, bro.
Any out there for fostering, we'll let you know.
Well, no. So the funny thing is, we're now officially a foster parent. You're
eligible to foster.
We can foster for next week.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we actually started talking like
you could foster other dogs if you wanted to.
I wouldn't mind. Yeah. We talked like we wouldn't mind doing it. Mm-hmm. Maybe not to the extent where you guys have like, because you guys have like a more fenced yard.
Well, we're just nuts. We come meet a dog and they're very sweet. And we're like, you can live here. That's fine.
Well, you guys got the space like when it's like out back. Like my dogs, I got to let them out front. It's easier and it's not fenced. And, like, I don't know. We got the space in the house, but outside is a little different.
Right.
Unless I had the whole backyard. If I had the whole fucking house property.
Right. See, and that's the lucky thing. You have a huge backyard, but it's not all fenced. So I get that. Like we are fortunate enough. We bought the house and the whole thing was fenced.
Yeah. If it was a fence, dude, I would let them lose.
Right.
But I don't know. We were talking. I think we're gonna attempt it.
Well, it's very rewarding. I will say it's. I mean,
I think the thing that's gonna suck is like, what if you're gonna, you just don't want to don't get your emotions involved. That's
attached, it. Yeah.
Don't get attached.
Like hit it and quit it with puppies. That's kind of like without actually hitting it. Like, yeah, it's like, you're just like, we're gonna do this like a couple weeks stand, and then you're gonna go to another home.
Well, that's how it is. Like you get these. I don't want to get. Obviously, you don't want to be emotionally attached to these dogs, but at the same time, it's also healthy for not only yourself but your own pets. Really.
Yeah. To socialize.
I noticed the dog we're gonna adopt. He's very good with other dogs right off the bat right now.
Right. Because it's so used to being
even me walking him. Like dogs. I took him for a walk. Was it yesterday or the day before? It was it was after we walked. And yeah, he just does good. And he does good with people, obviously.
Right.
He's a boxer. That's how they are. That's the breed.
Yeah.
I think.
No, they are. They're very family oriented.
They're just such a good dog.
Yeah.
And he'll sit there with me up at the yard and the fence. Like I don't even have a fence in front of the yard, but he'll just chill with me.
Yeah.
And he'll go eat grass. But no, I think that's really cool. So yeah,
we've been really enjoying
Mikey's
Chance. Mikey's Chance is the name of the organization.
So what happened to Mikey?
Honestly, Blanca might know why it's called Mikey's Chance. I'm assuming it's a dog that they found early on or something. But
let's give Mikey a chance.
I mean, they do. There's a ton of work that goes into this. I mean, one of the dogs that we're getting. I'm not even joking you.
That the resume, the application to get this dog
is longer than many resumes.
It is, which is awesome because they're looking for a legitimate. They're not interested in just getting the dog housed.
Yeah, they're interested in forever homes for their dogs.
Yeah, they're not wanting these people to just be like pieces of shit and cook a dog.
Right.
Hey.
Right. Like,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes. And they want to make sure that it's what's in the best interest of that particular dog.
Yeah. Cause like you said, like some of these dogs are coming from broken homes or broken homes.
The dog that we're going to pick up sometime this week to get it's a huge dog. It's not a Mastiff, but it's essentially a Mastiff. It's that size. Very sweet dog. And I don't know why, because of what I assume happened to him.
I think big dogs just are naturally sweet.
Well, he
'cause they
has
know
a
they can destroy
leg
you.
that was broken so long that they had to amputate the whole thing. So he's going to be a tripod.
Poor guy.
So he's going to have 3 legs. His eye, which I did learn is not from getting like punched or something. I was assuming somebody like hit this dog. It sounds like it can just happen, but he has like protrusions coming out of his eye.
He got punched.
And that was what my fear was. Like I was losing my mind over wanting to strangle this person.
I feel like he still got punched though, because if they went that long without fixing his leg,
I just think, it makes me very angry, and that's what makes it easy to do this. And this dog was just sweet.
It looks like a sweet little
6-year-old
little dog. He's big as fuck.
He's gigantic, but I mean, just a loving dog. And this is, the thing. Like these dogs are still so loving.
Well, that dog you guys have right now.
Through this kind of shit.
It had like a mangled face.
Yeah, the dog that we are going to have with us for a few days.
I think the dog they got used to be in a gang. It got in a fucking knife fight with another dog. Got its face sliced.
They call it Scarface.
Yeah, got injected with Parvo.
But they're just, and
but it's still be such so a happy
sweet. And
dog.
When I first met her,
my dog, the one we're getting, just loves this dog right now.
Oh yeah, we're having to counsel them a little bit.
Yeah, like, hey, bro, buddy, no means no.
She's clearly not enjoying this. Like, can you back off?
I don't know. But no, it's just,
I don't know. And obviously, not everyone would find joy out of fostering a ton of dogs, but for whatever reason, for us, it's really working right now. Like I was excited to do it, but I didn't realize I was going to enjoy it as much as I am.
Yeah, I think we would enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie. We got rid of a couple dogs. Well, we didn't get rid of them. Like one of our dogs passed away, and then another dog that was it was very handsy.
Mm-hmm.
We had to we gave it to someone else who could probably take a little more.
Right.
Take more attention.
Their family better.
Yeah. For us, it was a little tougher.
Mm-hmm.
But then it was just weird with no dogs. We had one dog, and it was just like, and he even seemed like, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
Although he kind of liked it. I'm not going to lie. But then when we got Rex, it was just like, damn, I kind of missed this. Like, yeah, this guy's busy as shit. Like he is, like I'm getting up at 6:40 every day because that's what time he gets up.
Right.
Because
he will demand that you get
because up. That's what time that's the time usually I get up during the week because I let my I get ready so I can get the kids to school, and then I take my girls to school, and so then I let the dog. Well, actually, when Elena's there, she lets the dogs out.
Oh, nice.
Elena is the dog letter out.
Mm-hmm.
You'll hear Max, get over here, Max. Then I'll come up. She's like, Max ran away. It's all right, Mama. Thank you for letting the dogs out. But she lets him out. She does all that stuff. And we weren't doing that. And it was just kind of sad.
Yeah.
And so now we got, a little busy guy. He gets me up at fucking 6:40 every morning. Wanting out. He doesn't really bark. He more whines.
Uh-huh.
But so I'm like, all right, let's go.
Well, he's so much like Beans.
He is.
And that's the thing that he is your dog.
He's going to be a very good dog when he's older. Not that he's a bad dog now.
Well, that's the thing people just know with puppies. They're just a lot of work.
He's a baby. Yeah. When you have little kids, little toddlers, they're busy little fuckers.
That's
dude.
right. Yeah. Just little toddlers can't jump on you. That's the only difference.
That's different.
Dogs
if a toddler could jump on me, bro, oh my God, my kid would have been.
If they could do it, they would.
Yeah. JJ, if he had the energy, if he could do what puppies could do, oh man, at least he would have went nuts.
Oh yeah. We all would. There's a reason why human children are so much more pathetic than animal children. It takes so much longer for human children to do anything than animal children.
I'm kind of glad.
Isn't a deer born standing up almost?
Dude, horses and deer, walk.
Jesus. Baby horses like trotting around.
So how'd you come out your mom's vagina? I walked.
I put my front feet out.
How did you come out? I slid out.
Yeah.
Pussy.
I slid out, and then I laid there, then I cried, and then a year and a half later, I kind of started to walk, but I fell a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we take forever to grow up.
Yeah, JJ, and I think Elena was the same way. And I think they got it from me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going. They were early walkers, and so was I. I was a very early. I can get up and do stuff, and so that's how they both were.
Mowing the lawn at 3. This guy.
Yeah, my mom would wake up from work because she used to work casinos as a change girl. So anybody who's old or young, there used to be this thing where girls would walk around your casino and they would give you quarters with these change things. Ding, 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 ding. That's what my mom did.
Yeah.
Right?
Would they exchange like bills for quarters or something?
Yep. Oh. My mom had this little belt with quarters in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You'd click it so many times and so many quarters would come out and you'd be able to give them
whatever.
Isn't
it? It's hard to believe now because everything's all those stupid
It's
cards
all digital and it's boring. And then they have the fake sounds.
Yeah. Like ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
Bro, I bet nothing beat the actual sound of a quarter hitting a fucking metal tray.
Can you imagine winning? Ding, 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 ding.
God, yeah. That sound was probably majestic.
Mm-hmm. And the cup with the coins that you put in.
Yeah.
Come on.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Get out of here with your card.
But yeah, my mom used to do that shit. It was cool. I don't even know what the fucking point it was. I was going with that story.
Don't know, but it was great.
It was awesome. I don't even remember.
What were we talking about?
I do remember. So my mom would get home work late, but anyway, she would sleep. And then me, I was an early riser. Still to this day, I'm the same way. She'd wake up and I was not in my crib. I wasn't in the house. She would come out. If I wasn't in my crib, I was out in the living room watching Sesame Street. Mm-hmm. I would get my cereal, because at this point I could walk a little bit, and I knew how to there was a point where I knew how to get my crib to for the cage to drop.
Yeah,
because back in the day, you could do something, I guess, and the cage would just drop.
Mm-hmm.
So I could. I figured out how to drop it. Yeah, I figured out how to drop the grate, and then I would crawl out of my cage.
There's a soundbite for you.
I know. Crawl into my little baby cage. I'd come out, and I would just go and I would do my own thing. She would wake up, and I would be out of the house sometimes.
Yeah.
She'd wake up, and
so needless to say, your mom could not adopt a dog from Mikey's.
She could not. she would not qualify. She couldn't even adopt her own kid.
Funny that if you saw a baby in a dog kennel, you'd be disgusted, but a baby in a playpen is fine. Isn't it essentially the same thing?
It is, except there's no roof.
There's no roof, but it's all I guess this the feeling around it.
Add a roof to a playpen, you'd still go in range,
right? I mean,
that's true.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Little baby jumping out. Get back in your cage.
Bad boy.
Bad boy. Stay. Stay. You pooped yourself? How does that smell?
Roll over. Play dead.
No. Rub their face in it. Do that again. Actually, although Rex, we had him the other day. I came in here with Tom. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, last night.
To go pick him up, and we were talking about some lighting because we're going to get some new lighting. And then Rex obviously followed, and he took a shit right on.
Not on the hard floor that's throughout the entire house.
Yeah, the whole house in this little other studio is all hardwood except for carpeted areas, which is a throw rug.
We have one throw rug in the whole damn place.
Took a shit on it.
And he took a shit right on the corner of it.
Right on it.
He was a foot away from the hard floor. Thanks, Rex.
Yeah. I was like, fucking.
You will be missed.
I just was like, man, something stinks. And I almost stepped in and I'm colorblind.
It was smelly. It was.
Did you smell it when I left?
Oh, well, not so much after you left, but when it happened, I was like, oh my God.
Yo, you smelled it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You seem cool. You're like, man, whatever, man.
Well, I was working on the computer. I can't do two things at once. So I probably shit my pants is what I was figuring.
But no, I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway.
That was cool. Men's mental health. Beware.
Mm-hmm.
Beware of your own mental health.
Take care of yourself. No matter who you are, where you are, take care of yourself.
Well, you do. You gotta. I think before you can love anybody else, and it took me a long time to realize this. You kind of gotta love who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And you got
to at the very least kind of accept yourself.
You gotta realize that you are who you are sometimes. And I'm not saying if you're like a piece of shit.
No,
obviously don't.
You can always work on yourself, but
yeah. Don't be like, you know what? I'm an abuser.
If you're feeling like I'm just a worthless piece of shit, invest in yourself a little bit. Invest in yourself. Because you're not just a worthless piece of shit. No matter who you are.
We all don't like coming out sloppy. Because I think a lot of then I've said this before. You look good, you feel good, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Tom right now fucking got a new fresh hairdo, got a nice little. He looking good. You're looking good,
well,
bro.
my t-shirts didn't fit, so I.
But how did it make you feel when you had those that didn't fit? You felt self-conscious. You didn't feel good.
True.
right?
Yes.
But you just got a fresh haircut and you wanted to feel nice.
I did.
And
I did.
And I need men to realize that there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel good.
Well, and
my wife, she calls me a princess, and I've said this before sometimes, because I don't like coming out with wrinkled clothes. I have to either use my steamer or iron them. But at the end of the day, like, I don't care where I'm going. I got to make sure either if I'm not going to wear a hat, which is a lot of times now, is my hair's got to be good. Obviously, I got to brush my teeth. But my clothes, they got to be, somewhat crisp. They can't be wrinkled. I don't want to be, and I've tried it, and I don't feel good about myself. Yeah. And I already have like those issues, and I wanted aspects of myself to feel good. So if whatever you can do with yourself, if it's just ironing your clothes or doing something like, if that's going to make you feel good, do that. Who cares what people think?
True.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if you feel good, that's all that matters. That's going to be such a jump to your mental health that it's just going to like cascade to other things.
It's really nobody else's business what you do to feel good. As long as you're not like breaking the law or something, you're.
Yeah. I feel good when I like get a nice outfit together. And I'm colorblind. So when I say, hey, does this look good? Does this match? If my wife jokes
You're literally
around,
wanting to know, does this match?
I literally want to know, do these shoes look good with this outfit?
Yeah.
And sometimes I know, but I need to know.
Just to have clarity and clarification. Or verification.
So I remember when Sadia was here, she was good with it. She was like, no, that don't look good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That's all I need to know. And that's all I need to know. I don't care. If I look fat, I need to know that. Because I don't want to feel fat.
Right.
Because I know I am fat.
Right. I know. I'm trying to work on that.
Dude, it's tough.
Hard.
I'm not going to lie. Like, this shirt doesn't make me look as fat as I feel. When I see it,
you look good.
Like right now, I think it's because it's a dark.
It's
my fucking 3 cups. I don't even know about girl booby size. My 3 cup size. 8 cups. What do they call?
Oh yeah, A,
B, C.
Yeah,
I don't got C cups. Like I probably got a solid A. I got solid A.
Possibly some small B's on me.
I might got B's.
I'm a 48B.
I'm a 40. I'm a 40 double D. I'm a little smaller than him, but for whatever reason, I got bigger tits.
To watch these things fly around.
I got nipples, Greg.
Yeah.
Can you milk me?
You can milk anything with nipples.
I know.
Yeah. No, I need to start exercising a little bit, but you know what? Whether I do or I don't, I love myself, and that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
So,
I think we can end on that.
I feel pretty good.
All that matters. Do you feel good about yourself? If you don't, work on who you are. It's not easy. It sucks. It's hard. I think that's.
But there's no shame in it.
I think that's something that we're both working on. Is like, if you know you're a good person, because you know if you're a good person, but you don't always feel like a good person. Just always know you are a good person. I know that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, cut yourself a little slack.
It'll make sense later on. But just always like you said, give yourself credit, man.
Yeah, you're
fucking doing shit. You're here today, right now, listening, doing work. Shit's only gonna get better. Nothing's ever gonna get worse. And if it gets worse, it'll be just for that brief amount of time. It's gonna be worse, and then it's gonna get
aren't as
better.
Bad as they seem.
Yeah,
the way it is in your head is gonna be way worse than the way it actually.
It is for real. It really is, and that's what happens to me. It's like I feel that way.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think we can end on that
note. Have a great week. Take care of yourself.
Laters, motherfuckers. I think so. I hit stop. It says stopping.
Okay, good.
Hopefully they don't hear that spit I just did.
Well, we'll have to. It's still going.
It said stopping.
But that's all right. We can cut the ending out.
I don't think. Too much about guys got any laptops at your house?
I do not think so. We'll have to look. I know Blanca or Elena had one, I think, that you gave her. And I don't know if she left it here.
She has her laptop.
Yeah.
What charger is it?
I'm sure we have a charger that will work for the computer.
That's what I need to check.
What kind of charger do you need?
USB-C.
Yeah, that's what this runs off of.
Is it?
I think so.
I'm gonna unplug it.